So today we're going to be taking a look at the Tennessee Agricultural Museum, located here in Nashville, Tennessee. So this museum has a bunch of vintage, antique farming equipment from various time frames. Such as this post driver. It looks to be manually operated. There's an old Farmall tractor back here. An old buggy. That was horse drawn or mule drawn. There's areas of what it would be like in the homestead. Crafts and things that they did. Looks to be a vintage foot-powered scroll saw. Now from that sign there, this building was a horse barn back in the day. And where we're standing at now will be the stalls, and there would be other stalls across the way there. Now this tree was where they signed a treaty between the Chickasaw Nation and white settlers in 1783. Right below the base of that tree. There's an old farm plow. An old cotton gin. Looks like its pulleys are made of rope. Here's an old dugout canoe. Looks like the log ride at Disney World. Wonder where they got that idea from. Here's a cider press. They pressed apples in it to make apple cider. And this is interesting. This is a sheep treadmill. And this is a Boss washing machine. This washing machine would lessen the time used to wash clothes. This is a hand crunk model where they would pull that lever back and forth, turn the flywheel, which would spin a drum inside there. And then when we're done, they would dry the clothes through that wringer. Now it did shorten the laundry day, but it was quite costly and women couldn't afford them, so they continued to wash by hand. And here's a butter churn from the 1900s, from 1900 actually. If you notice, it is pedal powered. And that would give your hands free use to do other means. Here's an old wood burning stove. They built a fire in that wood box there. The back middle was the hottest. Those were a little bit cooler, and those three there were the coolest. It is a Phillips and Buttorf wood stove. And then here's an old Victrola phonograph. And a Singer sewing machine. We all know what a Singer sewing machine is. And here's some examples of some woodworking and repair tools, such as hand saws, files, chisels, vices, draw knives, and an old workbench. That workbench has seen some things, I bet. Now here's some various items you would see in the homestead. There's a 1936 battery-powered radio, various milk bottles, a buttermilk jar, some straight razors and shaving cup and brush. This is a stereoscope and stereoscope card. When you put the card in there and looked through the eyepiece there, it would create a 3D image, kind of like Viewmaster today. The celluloid dresser set from the 1920s. Various pieces of clothing and buttons. And here's some other various farm implements, axes, pretty cool hat there too, from 1830. Hey, there I am. A candle snuffer. Some pretty interesting things here. And here on the other side is some different types of wagons and an old hit and miss engine, kind of like a portable power plant that would use belts to drive various other types of machinery. There's another, I guess that's a butter churn. And then there's a lard press. I don't know what you would press lard for. I guess they use it for cooking. Not sure. And this is a McCormick. I'm not sure what this is. It's a McCormick farm implement, let's just say. I don't know what that's for. If you know what that's for, let me know in the comment section below. I'm thinking it's a grain type of implement because it has a blower back there and tube. Could be for corn, something. If you know, let me know. It's another piece of large farm implement here. Various chains and gears and pulleys, and this looks like it was for, is that wheat there? I guess that's wheat. Not too sure. Some sort of grain. Pretty interesting how farm implements have changed over the last 100 years. From horse-drawn to GPS guided self-driving tractors we have today. And this looks like a conveyor belt for animals. They would put horses or other types of large animals on it, and they would use this treadmill to power belts and pulleys that would operate other stationary farm implements. And here's some various grain separators and processors. Some of these are from the 1870s. That one there's from 1879. And I believe that is a seed sower. You could put seeds in that and walk it like a wheelbarrow. and it would drop seeds into the ground. Can you imagine doing that? Having a large multi-acre farm. People just don't know hard work today. I bet that was hard work. And I don't know what that is. But it's interesting looking, whatever it is. It's a pretty cool museum. It's self-guided, 100% free. They take donations and they have a couple of things you can buy for coffee mugs type thing for funds, but pretty interesting. Pretty interesting collection. We're gonna go upstairs and see what's up that way. Now here on the top floor is a rug loom, I believe that's what that's called. So they used to make rugs in fabric. And then there's various types of plows and yokes for horses and ox and other animals that they use to pull these plows. There's another wagon here with some harnesses they put on the horses and mules. Trying to keep the horses a little bit comfortable, but get the most work out of them. There's some of the other implements from those horses. Some saddles. Some really old saddles. This looks like some medical exhibits. Reminds me of that medical museum I went and saw down there in Foley, I think it was, here a while back. I have to go back to that one. There's old wagon wheels. Here's some more old wagons and churns and all kinds of neat stuff. And this overlooks the bottom floor of where we were just at. And there's an old horse-drawn buggy there in the middle. And there's the top of that pile driver we saw earlier. This is a double spiral seed separator. Not sure why you need to separate the seeds. Maybe for size? I don't know. But there's more plows. If you like plows, it'd be a good place to come see them. And I think that's called a thrasher, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments below what those are. They would cut the grain or grass, that sort of thing. Definitely some cool stuff in there. Yep. Can't be in Tennessee without seeing a still. Old moonshine still. And that's a coffin. That is definitely a child's coffin. That's kind of weird, but understandable. It was part of life back then. Up here on this other little top level, it's kind of a seamstress shop where they would make the yarn. And spin it into wool yarn. Big looms to make the fabrics that they made their clothes and blankets and other materials with. There's another big one. Old school looking bed. And there's some of the attire they wore back in the day, back in the 1800s. That glass kind of gives it a little bit of glare, so I'm sorry. See if I can get a little closer. So this is pretty interesting. Seeing all the old farm implements and household implements from the 1800s to early 1900s. It's also interesting that this is a free museum. I think there's horse stables outside some other buildings, so we're gonna go take a look at those. Now, we complain about how long it takes to get our mail sometimes. Imagine how long you had to wait if this was your mail vehicle that transported your mail. People complain they're paying $1 to get an envelope across the United States. It takes a couple days. It'd take weeks with that thing. Now, as trivial this may be, this sidewalk here brings back memories of my grandmother's house up in Wisconsin. She had a sidewalk like this with big flat stones. Something you don't see by my house. But out here they have 3 or 4 buildings you can go take a look at. Schoolhouse and that sort of thing. So we're going to go take a look at those buildings. Now there's 2 of these little houses. I guess they're a house. It could be a shed of some sort. Log cabin. I don't know, because that one has a fireplace to it. It could have been a pioneer home. I'm not exactly sure. If I find out what these are, I'll leave a comment. I'll leave a notation here on the video, excuse me. And also there is some walking trails and hiking trails that go off through the woods. And here's the backside of the building we were just in. You can tell it resembles a horse barn. And there's another one of those houses. I'm just guessing those are houses. And this is, let's see if I can read the sign there. These are historic cabins. Okay, back up a little bit so you can get a better look at them here. It looks like it's 2 of them, and they're combined in the middle. It's like a common area with a nice big porch on it. So this sign says they're not sure the exact dates of these cabins, but they were here in 1957. This cabin is called Dog Trot, and it was moved to the farm in 1927. A dog trot is a dwelling with 2 single-pin cabins connected by a common gable roof that creates a covered passage or dog trot between the cabins. 2 Adirondack-style chimneys were added later, circa 1930s, along with limited electricity. Just kind of let you see. Kind of dark in here, but you can. Fireplace and table and some various things needed for life. Butter churn. Water buckets. Looks like an old broom there. Wash tub in the corner there in the dark. Pretty interesting. It says these cabins use dovetail notches. And that's how they were so stable. And that's how they made the corners. And probably used no nails whatsoever. Just the mortar that was between the logs. So I guess on the hot summer days you could sit here in the dog trot area and kind of cool off. It is interesting that there is a slight breeze blowing through here, more than what it is out there in the yard. You can see the dovetails there a little bit better. So these were living cabins for farmers, probably single farmers that didn't have a family. There's another homestead of one of Tennessee's. I believe she was a female governor at one point, and she actually worked out here with the Agricultural Museum back in the 50s and 60s, I think is what it was, if I'm not mistaken. Off to the left-hand side is this old Chattanooga Plow Company. I believe this would take sugar cane and you feed it in that side, and it would come out that side. Now, whenever it went through those rollers there, it would squish out the juices and sugars and that sort of thing out that little spigot there. Now, this whole thing will be powered by an ox or horses, maybe mules or donkeys, that sort of thing. And it'd have a bar, maybe even a four-way. Depends on how many animals they used on it. But the animals would just walk around in a circle and process the sugar cane. And out here in the parking lot a little bit is this pavilion. There's some other farm implements of various types that you can go look at. Don't know what that is or what it was used for. If you know what that's for, let me know in the comment section below. It says the Pennsylvania manufactured by Herner and Sons? I don't know. Anyways, different types of plows. And this looks like it might be for cutting down corn. Now, if I'm wrong about any of this stuff, let me know in the comments below, please. Just interesting to see how this old farm equipment, an old discer, it would disc up and, if I'm not mistaken, plant seeds. Yep, seed planter. It would drop down those little chutes there into the ground after it disked up the soil. And this looks like some sort of press. Man, don't know what you want to press. Cotton, maybe? Hay? I don't know. Pretty interesting and fairly long. It's about 10-12 foot wide. Don't know. And then they got some new bulldozers and old bulldozers and an old fire watchtower out there. And across the way there's some horse barns. Kind of interesting. This was a farm at one time, and now it is an agricultural museum. So that's just a little look there of the Tennessee Agricultural Museum. If you're ever in the Nashville area, you got a little bit of time to kill, come on by and see it. Pretty interesting. Like always, appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next time.